Hello, welcome to the stream. If you're new here, my name's Jared. I am a seasoned Rubyist. I run a software consultancy where we build e-commerce websites using Ruby on Rails and a platform called Solidus called Supergood. We are not doing things like that today, though. We are doing Ruby, though. We are working on the Advent of Code puzzles for 2020, heading into day 21. Earlier today, I did days 20 and 19, and it took quite a while. So I'm hoping we can make better time on tonight's puzzle, but we'll see. If you're interested in any of these, any of my previous videos, you can find them on my YouTube. Supergood Jared on there as well. And as with every night, I am working my way through a whiskey advent calendar. And today's is, or rather yesterday's, is the Lagavulin Distillers Edition, which is very peaty. Very good though, I like it. And if I finish it, I may start on this Laird of Fintry one, which is interesting because it is finished in rum barrels. And I'm not sure I've ever had a scotch finished in rum barrels. And I like the tasting notes. They intrigue me. So we'll see where we can get. That leaves us with less than a minute before we get started here. I don't think I have anything really else to touch on. Whoops. Suspiciously like this computer's not responding. There we go. It was asleep. We'll be doing day 21, part 1, as soon as it unlocks. Excuse me. Yeah, quick like a mute button. What's this? Get some achievements unlocked on Twitch due to my regular streaming these days. Day 21, Allergen Assessment. You reach the train's last stop and the closest you can get to your vacation island without getting wet. There aren't even any boats here, but nothing can stop you now. You build a raft. You build a raft. You just need a few days worth of food for your journey. You don't speak the local language, so you can't read any ingredient lists. However, sometimes allergens are listed in a language you do understand. You should be able to use this information to determine which ingredient contains which allergen and work out which foods are safe to take with you on your trip. You start by compiling a list of foods, one food per line. Each line includes that food's ingredients list, followed by some or all of the allergens the food contains. Each allergen is found in exactly one ingredient. Each ingredient contains 0 or 1 allergen. Allergens aren't always marked. When they're listed, as in contains nuts, shellfish, after an ingredient list, the ingredient that contains each listed allergen will be somewhere in the corresponding ingredients list. However, if an allergen isn't listed, the ingredient that contains that allergen could still be present. Maybe they forgot to label it, or maybe it was labeled in a language you don't know. Okay. Sorry. Oh, so I wanted to make sure my chat's visible. For example, consider the following list of foods. So, nonsense. Oh, it's all consonants too. Brutal. Can't even try and pronounce them. Contains jellyfish. Contains soy. Contains fish. So we could guess that. So we could say that like MXVKD probably is the fish. because otherwise this would contain fish, or this would contain fish. This would contain fish. Dairy is going to be whatever overlaps between these two, which, oh, interesting. No, that's this. Oh, but we know, interesting. So that's not quite the logic. Interesting. The first food in the list has 4 ingredients written in a language you don't understand. That. While the food might contain other allergens, a few allergens the food definitely contains are listed afterward: dairy and fish. So this one probably also contains fish, because the first step is to determine which ingredients can't possibly contain any of the allergens in any food in your list. In the above example, none of the ingredients can contain an allergen. None of the ingredients, this, or this, can contain an allergen. Counting the number of times any of these ingredients appear in any ingredient list produces 5. They all appear once except spz, which appears twice. Spz. That's how I'm pronouncing that one. Determine which ingredients cannot possibly contain any allergens in your list. How many times do those ingredients appear? And yes. Beautiful, beautiful list. Let's get down to business. What am I doing? I need to open day 21. All right. Brain's already fried from 5.5 hours of streaming earlier. Day 21 text. Okay. So let's, as we often start, let's write a parser. Let's parse this. We're just going to parse it into Ruby terms, then we'll figure out where we're going to go from there. Let's write our parser test. Oh. We use a mini test. For convenience, I just use mini test in here. I find it a lot more intuitive for, just in general, honestly. We're doing like normal Ruby stuff, so why don't we just use the normal Ruby tests, you know? Test parsing example. Input equals assert equal, and I guess we're gonna expect parser new input I don't know, data parser.parse, I don't know, and we expect that to be a bunch of hashes, maybe. Or maybe do we build a struct here? So each line, these are foods. Food struct new ingredients allergens. Food new. So we'll break all of these out into foods. We can use this syntax to put together the ingredients and the allergens similarly. Think what the easiest way to write this is. Then pretty good. So an array of foods. Foods have ingredients and allergens. Everything is errors. Everything is errors. How have I so quickly introduced errors? This is a valid class. Do I need to do? And yeah, that looks right. Unexpected constant. Parser new. Oh, haha, yeah, I'm missing a comma there. Alright, cool. So we'll add a reader for input, and then parse will just loop over each line and map them. So input, split it on lines, and then we'll map each line to a new food, new ingredients, allergens. And now we just need to pull those out of the line. And does every line have... Oh, sorry, that's not how I should do this. There you go. Does every input have... Looks like they all have allergens. I'm going to assume they do for now, but we can fix that if they don't. So we want to match any amount of junk followed by contains space and then more junk. In fact, why am I even doing this in here? Let's just copy this into Rubular and do it in Rubular rather than risk making a mistake here. Okay. What is going on here? What? Okay. Got some trailing junk happening. Okay. Fix the trailing junk that I accidentally copied out of my terminal. Okay, so that all works. That's the regular expression we need. We can pop that in here. And ingredients is M1 split on spaces. And allergens is M2 split on comma spaces. Correct. Okay, so there's our parser. Good start. So now we can parse things, and now we have to figure out what the logic we want to implement is, which is where I'm a little iffy here. So, allergens aren't always marked. When they're listed as the ingredient that contains each allergen will be somewhere in the corresponding ingredient list. Oh, each allergen is found in exactly one ingredient. Okay. So that, I think, is easy. Right? Because we can go for each allergen, and we can look at all of the ones that contain it, and we can figure out. Okay. All right, so let's write our test here. And we expect this to produce 5. Lovely. And so what do we do? Allergens equals input.map flat map allergens unique. That's our full list of allergens, and then we can combine them. So we'll say, actually, let's just bind it up after that. So allergens, dairy, fish, soy. I want to do it for the real input. Allergens. Okay, so let's go with sesame first. Input dot select. Map. So I'll take all the ingredients of the ones that contain this allergen. Oh no. We get 3. Can contain an allergen. Okay. So I would assume the allergen is in one of those. So let's say we set it to wheat. So the wheat allergen is in one of those. Okay. I think that makes sense. So we want to just exclude all of the ones that are in this list. Okay, I think. Okay, so. Bad ingredients are unsafe. Let's call them unsafe ingredients. Is allergens map unsafe ingredients now. Only 3? Oh, this is in the other example. Is that correct? So there's KFCDS, not in there. NHMS said, okay. We appear to have selected. And then we can say input dot sum for each food we want to use f.ingredients minus unsafe ingredients. Length produces the right answer here. All right, that's part 1 done. Day 21, part 1, and some random change to day 22 as well. All right, so on to part 2. Now that you've isolated the inert ingredients, you should have enough information to figure out which ingredient contains which allergen. In the above examples, contains dairy, contains fish, contains soy. Arrange the ingredients alphabetically by their allergen and separate them by commas to produce your canonical dangerous ingredient list. There should not be any spaces in your canonical dangerous ingredient list. In the above example, this would be MXMXVKD, etc., etc. Okay. So now we're going to run part 2, and we should be able to run a nice little test using the same input as we have here. Oop, as we have here. And so we're gonna get 0. So let's extract some things. Unsafe ingredients. I don't know if I need that. Sure. Now, why can I figure this out? So unsafe ingredients by allergen. Maybe that's something we can look at. Okay, so in this case we can say dairy is for sure that one, so fish then must be this one, and then soy must be this one. So it's sort of process of elimination. So once we have them mapped, until I'm just going to call this U because that's too much typing. Till you can call empty on a hash, right? Allergen food equals find u dot find af and or sorry, yeah, that's right. Let's just write it out so that I don't get mixed up. Foods dot length equals 1. Food equals foods dot first. So this is one we know for sure. Bad ingredients. Let's just say bad. Let's keep it simple. So we'll loop over this. We'll find the ones we know for sure because there's only one possibility for them. We will remove them and continue doing so until we have found them all. So with each one, we want to u.delete allergen. So we found it now. And we want to u.transform values. We want to remove all of the instances of that food that we've now identified. Then we want to add food to our bad list, continue going, and then eventually do a binding.pry. My method first for nil class. So we failed to correctly remove the food. Because transform values returns into a hash. Is our transform values bang? Oh, I guess that's not really what I wanted to do. Then we want to bad.sort because it wanted them in arrange the ingredients alphabetically by their allergen. Oh, by their allergen. So we didn't quite save enough information. Now bad is pair of these, so bad dot sort by first map last. Join those with commas. Okay. And there we go. That was easy compared to previous days and the last few days anyway. Got rank 580 for this star. I didn't see what we got for the last one, but I'm happy with that, especially given time spent explaining and going through things. Thank you to our one viewer who hasn't said anything. Quiet evening stream tonight, but I still appreciate you. We will be back tomorrow night with day 22. See y'all later.